So we're going to be practicing the stomach and spleen meridian lines today. So we're just working a little bit into our power center, so our manipura or solar plexus chakra. It's located just above your belly button, above your navel, and just kind of where the ribs split. So we're working into this part of the body today. Working into the meridian lines of the spleen and the stomach. So I thought it'd be nice to move on the postures to come to the spleen stomach, just to help us come back into our power, to come back into our strength, to find some courage, because I'm sure a lot of people are sensing this this feeling of uncertainty is quite a prevailing sensation around. Just in terms of things being cancelled all the time, we're not used to the circumstances, everything feels a little bit off center. So just coming back into this space, coming back into this center, really activating the meridian lines that run through this area will help us to bring a lot more courage, a lot more strength, just sensation of feeling a little bit more empowered. So hopefully by the end of the practice you'll feel that, and that will carry on for the rest of your week. So we can start the practice just a few moments of allowing ourselves to center and settle. So if you feel that it's more comfortable just to lie down for the beginning of the class, feel free to just lie down, or if not, just carry on finding your comfortable seat, either cross legs or on your shins. And then we can start to close down through the eyes and draw our awareness into our center. So just take a few rounds of breath in through the nose, really inflating down into the belly. As you exhale, you can sigh the breath out. Yawn. Making any sounds that feel good to really release any tension that you're holding in this center. Allowing any static energy to move away from the center of your body, to diffuse with your exhales. And as you inhale, imagine that you're just filling up the body with fresh oxygen, fresh prana, fresh chi. Feeling this life force fill into every cell of your body, and as you exhale, just releasing anything stagnant, anything that's heavy or weighing you down, anything that's no longer serving, allow that to come out with your exhales. Just a few more rounds in through the nose and out through the mouth. So wherever you are, lying down or seated, just finding that still point in the body, finding your center. Just allowing yourselves to start to tune into the stomach area, the manipura chakra, and start to sense what's going on here. Just arising, any sensations, any thoughts or feelings within this space. Allow your awareness to keep dropping down into this center here, just above the navel. If it feels good to connect a little bit more strongly, you can bring maybe a hand to rest onto your upper abdomen. And we'll just breathe in and out through the nose. So acknowledging where your starting point is, how your body's feeling. You can start to expand your awareness out to the rest of the body, tuning into how the general tone or mood of your body is today. Noticing any sensations in terms of aches or pains or tension you feel in the rest of your body. or if your body feels quite calm, relaxed, comfortable today. Scanning through, checking in and tuning in and dropping inward. And then if you haven't placed one hand onto your upper abdomen, you can just bring your right hand to here, your left hand, just place it onto your heart space. And taking a moment to really set a focus for your practice today. So setting our intention. Maybe you'd like to bring a focus to something that you'd like to bring more power or courage to. Maybe it's something that you'd like to figure out some more calm or peace towards. Or maybe it's just having more presence of your body, being grateful for the body, whatever it is that feels good, just taking a moment to set an intention and repeating it just 3 times in your mind, feeling that intention settle into your body. Nice, and then from here we can take a nice stretch out to the side. If you're laying down, stretching your arms up overhead too. Reaching out, take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can circle the hands back down. Nice. We're going to slowly come off of our seat onto all fours. So if you're laying down, just roll yourself over onto the side before you come up. We're going to make our way into a wide knee child's pose. So make your way towards the back end of your mat. And we want to take the toes together, knees apart. If that feels uncomfortable on the knees, you might want to grab a blanket to bring behind the backs of the knees. You can just roll it like a noodle. And we're going to add a twist into our child's pose. So just starting to pad your hands out as far as can go. That feels comfortable. You can take the left arm out, take a twist to the left side, inhaling. And as we exhale, we're going to thread that left arm underneath the right, coming into a twist. So you're resting just on the top of your left shoulder and on the side of your head. Try to let the hips sink back into the heels. You can either keep your right hand where it is, outstretched through the arm, or if it feels more comfortable, you can bring the hand just in front of the face, act as a post. It might help you to twist a little bit deeper. Or if it feels comfortable for you to rest your hand onto your lower back, you can come to here. So we're working to twist through the spine, twist the abdomen, but also we're twisting through the heart. So we're going to be here for 3 minutes each side. About 30 seconds in already. So start to just let yourself come into a really soft sensation in the mind, softening through the body, the muscles. And start to feel your body dropping its weight into gravity, into the floor beneath you. Try not to hold. The aim here is to feel soft and surrendered. And whatever we do to the body, we do to the mind. So the more we can find softness, surrender, and letting go in the body, we slowly start to see this translating into the mind and the thoughts, the way that we operate on a day-to-day basis. We're about halfway through this first side. Just keep allowing your breath to flood into the body. Really inhaling and inflating the belly, the ribs on the back of the body. Maybe noticing any areas that feel a little sticky or restricted. And seeing if we can find just a little bit more softening through these areas in particular. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. We'll just be a little bit more careful with these tighter areas as they slowly start to unwind. Just here for another 30 seconds. Taking your last 2 rounds of breath here. And preparing ourselves to move, we can slowly relax through the top arm, bringing it to rest in front of the face. So your right hand, gently pushing into that right hand, slowly lifting yourself up, coming out as slowly as you went into the posture. Just unraveling, coming back to the center. Take a moment, you might need to readjust through the legs, readjust through the spine, coming into a straight spine. And then we can take, again, the left hand out as far as it will go, inhaling to open the right arm. And as we exhale, we can thread that right arm all the way through, coming into twist on the opposite side. Just finding the right placement for this left hand, wherever feels good, either outstretched, hand in front of the face, or taking that left hand round to the opposite hip. Tuning in, noticing how the body's feeling in this shape on this side. And seeing if there's any differences from that right side. Finding again surrender, a sensation of letting go. Just coming through our last minute and a half, so you're halfway through on this side. Trying to find again that softening through the mind. Allow your mind to just drift off the awareness, resting the awareness onto your breath. Just taking our last 2 rounds of breath here before we prepare to move out of the shape, taking your time. Taking that left hand again down to support in front of the face. And as you inhale, slowly lifting up, to unravel, coming back into the center. Take a moment here, and then we can slowly bring the knees back into center. You might want to lift up into tabletop or into down dog, maybe stretching out through the legs. Just take a moment for the body to come back into space of balance, into your rebound. Taking any movements through the legs that might feel good, through the hips, through the back. And just becoming aware of how the body is releasing, if it's shifting anything at all. Just taking one more round of breath. So this time we're going to take the toes together and the knees together, and we can sit back again towards the heels. Coming this time into a child's pose. So it might feel good for you to keep the spine straight. I like to keep a brick underneath my forehead. After I think it's 7 p.m, the heart rate drops. So you're preparing to go into more of a sleep state, and then it can give you a bit of a head rush if you have your head lower down than your heart. So I would recommend using a brick. You can then either take your hands out long or bring the hands down by the heels and just rest your forehead down to come into child's pose. If that doesn't feel good, you can always move the bricks and have your head rested onto the floor. Or if you'd like to have a little bit more support and you feel comfortable rested, you can bring a pillow or a couple of pillows in front of you or a bolster. And then you can either hug around the bolster or just rest your arms flat to the mat, elbows bent. And then turn your cheek to the side and rest your head. You're going to be here for 2 minutes. You're just allowing yourself to come into whatever position feels comfortable for you today. We're working to compress into the abdomen. So we've had a twist through, just a gentle twist through the center. And now we're working into compression of the abdomen. As we twist, we help things to move and shift, bringing both sides of the intestines. And then as we compress, we start to stop and restrict the blood flow from moving into the stomach. And then as we come out of that compression, we allow a nice flush of blood to rush in. And this helps to shift anything in the stomach. Brings more chi into this area of the body. So keep your breath full, not strained or forced, but a nice steady rhythm, effortless and calming breath. Let's do for another 30 seconds or so. Preparing yourself to move, just taking the last 2 rounds of breath here. And then with your next inhale, you can slowly start to lift yourself up. You can move anything out to the side if you're using any props. And we're going to make our way down into Sphinx pose. So you can take your body out long, coming flat to the mat, stretched out through the legs, taking the elbows just ahead of the shoulders. And although we're keeping a nice compression into the abdomen, we're also now opening and lengthening the abdomen. So if we can, we want to keep the hips and the lower back nice and relaxed, the legs are relaxed. And a gentle lift up into the crown of the head. So we're finding a very gentle stretch through the front of the abdomen. If that feels a little bit too much, you can also work to take the elbows a little bit further away from you and rest a little bit lower, so it's not as deep a back bend. Or you can rest your forehead down onto stacked forearms if that still feels a little bit too much in your lower back. Or again, if you want to prop yourself up, it's quite nice to bring a pillow or a cushion just underneath your chest. That gives you a lift, but allows a sort of softening in the shoulders. And if your head or neck feels uncomfortable, you can always look towards your mat. This might actually feel quite nice if you work at a desk or if you drive a lot. You can give your neck a nice stretch just by gently looking towards your mat. So we're here for 3 minutes as well. We've been here for 1 minute already. So principles of Yin is slow, steady, and stationary. We want to come in and out of every shape slowly, move through each transition slowly. We find the steadiness in our breath, and this in turn translates into the mind, a nice steady mind. Over time, we really see the benefits of the practice. We see any racing thoughts slowly coming down as we hold space for ourselves to release, to let go, to come into a more stationary and therefore peaceful mindset, physical body. And the more we practice Yin, the more we see this translate into our everyday lives. It allows a container for us to process, to rest, to just be, to find space, and to pause. So really allow your practice to be a space for you to come into that space of peace within, a place to reflect, and a space for you to find a connection inward to that sensation of serenity and surrender. Nice, we're just taking 2 more breaths in Sphinx. And then if you've taken any props, you can move those just out to the side and slowly make your way down to the mat. It might feel nice to make a pillow with your hands or a brick, or you can take your hands down beside your hips and just rest through the shoulders if that feels good. Maybe a wiggle through your hips might feel good, or maybe bending the knees and swaying the feet side to side might feel good too. Whatever feels good, just coming into your rebound. You can always stay still in your rebounds. It's just a space for you to shift back into a more neutral space in the body. You'll notice any shifts or changes in the body, in the mind. If you've turned your face to the side, just look into the opposite direction. We're here for just a few more rounds of breath. And then after your next round, we can prepare ourselves to come back into all fours, just taking the time to come up gently, press into hands and knees. So we'll come into our next shape, which is going to be dragon. So dragon is a nice lunge. We can use any props that you might need underneath your knee, maybe a blanket or a little bit of extra padding. We can step forward with the right foot. I quite like to stay more lifted in my dragon. It helps me to stretch. Sorry, my head's cut off, but you can see what my legs are doing. We're working to stretch this front line of the quad. and we're working onto the inner leg line, the groin. But we also want to find a nice length through the abdomen. So if it feels good for you to come to more of a lifted position, that might help you find more of a stretch in that left quad. If it feels more comfortable for you to stay lower, you can also get a bit of a compression on that right side of the abdomen. So finding whichever position feels good for you. If that feels a little bit strong on the back leg, you can also grab a pillow or a bolster and just rest the front of the thigh onto the bolster so you've got a bit of support there. We're going to be here for 3 minutes each side. We want to try to work into this meridian line. I'm going to read it out to you as we're here. So the spleen meridian, which is your yin meridian line, begins at the medial side, so the inside of the big toe, and it comes up the inside of the leg. It goes into the torso through the groin, entering the stomach and the spleen, which goes up through the diaphragm. The stomach and the spleen sit just on the left side of the abdomen, just in that top part where the solar plexus is. So it goes up through the diaphragm, the chest and the heart, and it ends at the root of the tongue. And then the stomach meridian, which is your yang organ meridian line in the pair, it begins next to the nose and goes down through the diaphragm into the stomach and the spleen, and it moves down along the top of the leg from the quad, the front side of the leg, and it ends at the second toe. So these are the lines that we're working to stretch and open as we come through this meridian pair. And when it's in balance, we find a nice easeful way of living. We don't find too much worry or stress. We take things with a very light and effortless flow. We're able to digest and process things very easily. So the more we can work into this line, if you're feeling any stress, any tension, any worry, any overthinking, this one's a really good one to work daily. This sort of flow, targeting the quads, the twists, inner thighs, stomach. And we're just here for another 30 seconds and then we'll come out of this side. It's really good as well if you just observe what's happening on each side of the body. So our left side is our yin side, on the feminine energies, passive, more creative energies, sort of slower, more gentle. You can slowly push back, take your time to come out, take this right leg back and we can change over. Just moving, taking any props that you might need. If you need to prop your hands up onto bricks, you can also use that. This side might feel different, so we're working into the right quad, which is your yang side, so more masculine energies, more logical thinking, more about action and doing. So if it feels more comfortable for you to stay in the lower, you can stay low, with the compression happening on the left side of the abdomen now, so we're working to squeeze and compress the stomach and spleen where it resides. Or again, if it feels more comfortable, you can push up, come into more of a right angle with the legs, whichever feels better for you on this side. So our spleen is within the 5 elements of water, air, fire, metal, wood is earth. And it's to do with having a firmness, a strength within. And when we find that we're in balance through the spleen chi, we feel equanimity, fairness, have a good appetite for life. And we also have a discriminating wisdom, so we don't second guess ourselves. We're not plagued by anxiety, hidden stress, agony. We feel integrated, centered, balanced. And it's associated with the colour yellow. So again, coming back to our Manipura chakra, the colour yellow, working into this space. So as we come through this flow, we're working to stabilize, find balance. We're just here for another 30 seconds. Keep breathing, keep finding awareness of what's changing in the body, if there is any changes, if there are any changes. Just taking 2 more rounds of breath before we come into our next shape. You can slowly start to push back through the hips, take that left leg back. If you've taken any props, you might want to just move them out to the side. We're going to come into Sleeping Swan on the right leg. So we can pad our hands toward the top of the mat, take the right knee to the right wrist, start to shuffle or grab the foot and move it over to the left side. And then we can stretch back with that left leg coming down toward the floor with the hips. So if that feels really uncomfortable, you can grab a pillow, you can grab a brick, you can come to sit onto there. We want to try keep your back nice and stable. So if it feels really twisted, just take whatever you need to prop yourself up. Or you can also take the weight all the way down onto your right hip. Take your right shin parallel to the top of your mat. And then the back leg and just come a little bit higher up. We're working to target this inner leg line from the big toe all the way up into your groin, and also getting a nice rotation through the hip. And if we can, we're going to compress through the belly. So you can work to bring your belly down towards the floor, either resting onto your forearms and your hands, or if it feels good, you can start to stretch out and relax down. If you need any props, just grab whatever you need to help you feel supported. We're going to be here for 3 minutes each side. So in this one particularly, just come into an edge that feels good for you, not working into any pain. We're not tweaking the joints or hurting any area of your knee. Pad yourself up as much as you need to, take as much prop to support you. And if it feels good to come out earlier, always feel free to leave the posture slowly whenever you want. But the more we can sit and stay and not be disrupted by the sensations in the body, we just allow them to come up. So any sensations, any emotions, any physical sensations, we can become more of an observer and allow them to present. And we carry on breathing and focusing on the breath. We hold space for them to arise, and then slowly they start to dissipate. And the more we can have that unwavering rest, sort of sensation where we surrender into the restlessness of the mind, of the body, the more we can overcome that and move through it. Just here for another 30 seconds. I really encourage you to sigh, to yawn, helps the body to release and relax inwardly. So just taking one more breath here before we can slowly come out of the shape. You can either lift up and then roll onto your right hip, bring the legs up to center, or you can step back into a down dog or come back into a tabletop. And then we can go straight onto the other side. So just taking any props that you've used that you might need. Setting up the left leg to come forward, your right leg's going back this time. This might feel different on this side, so just work to see what you need. And then we're here for 3 minutes again. Remembering if it feels too strong, let all of your weight drop onto that left hip. Take the leg parallel to the top of the mat and then just let your right leg relax where it needs to. And then you can let your body weight come down over that left leg. And you're still getting that nice compression into the groin, into your left hip, but without putting the weight onto the knee. If you feel quite comfortable with the back leg extended, you can start to come down onto your elbows or resting onto a pillow. And pressing into the spleen and stomach on that left side. We're just here for about another minute and a half. Just taking you through your last minute here. Again, if it's too much, always coming out, listen to your body, really discern what feels right for you in every shape, especially practicing online. There is no wrong, no right. There's only sensation, only feeling. Try to stay with your edge as long as you can. Stay breathing, stay aware, stay observant. We're just taking another 2 breaths. And then when you're ready, take your time, really, really slowly lifting up to come out. And again, you can either come to the center, just taking that left leg in, or you can step back into a down dog. You might want to come into an all fours. I'm just going to come to sit in a seat. It feels more comfortable for me. You might want to take your feet flat to the mat and take some knee sways. That might feel nice to release your hips. You might want to just stretch the legs out. Or come to seated with the legs straight. Whatever feels good, just taking a moment to rebound. Nice, just taking one more breath here. And then we're going to come into dragonfly, which is a wide leg position. So if you feel that it's a bit uncomfortable for you to take your legs out wide, if you can't comfortably sit like this, you might want to grab a little cushion or a brick or your rolled up blanket, and you can bring it just to the back of your seat. So your sit bones want to come just to the edge of it, and then almost feel like you're tipping forward. So the pelvis starts to tilt down, and then you have a nice long spine, you've got a nice open hips, and just take the legs to wherever feels comfortable. So if it's a little bit closer in, that's perfect. If it's more open, do whatever feels right for you. And you also might want to take a blanket, roll it into a noodle, so a long thin strip, and place it under the backs of the knees just to pad up so the knees feel nice and comfortable. I'm going to just roll my mat underneath here. You can also just tuck your mat under if that's more comfortable. So just make yourself feel as comfortable here as you can. And then we're going to add on a twist. So we're working from the big toe and the second toe this whole way up the leg line, inner leg line into the groin, and we're working up these two middle paths. So we're crossing through the stomach, the spleen, and up into the throat where it runs. So we can start to just gently twist the chest towards your right leg. And your hands can either come either side and just pause there, or you might like to bring one hand to rest onto the side of the thigh and maybe twist a little bit further round to the back, looking over your back shoulder. You might want to bring a prop behind you to prop up your hand. We're just here for 2 minutes each side. So as you move your body through different positions, different shapes, just pay attention to what changes, how your body feels, if it evokes any emotion or memory. Just be conscious and aware of what is residing in different areas of your body. If the mind becomes too chatty or it's taking you too far off, just allow yourself to slowly become aware that you've drifted away from your practice and slowly bring your focus back to your breath. Maybe fill in the breath into areas that feel a little restricted or tight. With your next inhale, we can slowly come back to the center. And with your next exhale, you can slowly twist your left side. Again, this side, just coming to whatever feels good. You don't have to match each side. It's just trying to find balance in whatever way your body needs on each side of the body. So in Yin, we're looking for an equilibrium in terms of what feels right, not in terms of what looks right or following the same on each side. So your body might need something different on the left to the right side, just honoring whatever it is. Maybe you can push a little further into your edge on this side, or maybe you need to come back a little bit. Just paying attention to how each side of your body responds and reacts to each shape. I encourage you to really breathe fully into the belly, let the belly expand. Every inhale, you're flooding more blood, more chi and prana, more oxygen into the organs, into the meridian lines. We're allowing a flush through energetically, physically, emotionally. And maybe as you exhale, you can find a little bit further into your edge, coming deeper into the shape. We're just here for another 4 rounds of breath. And then when you inhale, next round, you can slowly de-rotate, come back to the center. Just moving any props out to the side. We can bring your hand behind the backs of the knees. Let your hand do the work. Pick one knee up, slowly bring that leg into the center. Pick up the back of the other knee and slowly bring that leg back into the center. And then you can give yourself a little hug in, just walk your feet in closer, hug around the shins, give yourself a nice squeeze. Might feel nice to drop your head to your knees. Maybe it might feel nice to rock a little bit forward and back or side to side. And then when you're ready, you can slowly come back up to a lifted position. You can just lean back into your hands, walk your feet a little bit further away from you, take your feet about hip width apart, and just slowly roll side to side through the knees. And then coming back into center. We're going to come into either easy pose with cross-legged, or you can take a cushion, just sit onto the cushion and come into Siddhasana, which you want to bring the heels of the feet just in line with the perineum and the knees out to the side. Just finding an easy space to rest into a comfortable seat so you feel long through the spine, open through the hips. Nice. So we're going to do a Kriya, which is a cleansing breath work. This one's called Agni Sar. It's from a Sattva yoga that I practice, and I found it extremely potent in shifting energy. So I thought this would be a really nice one to bring in just to help shift and clear some energy in the digestive system and also energetically in this area. So the more we can work into this part of the abdomen and really bring force and strength into our solar plexus by use of breath, which is Kriya or pranayama, we can cultivate more energy in this space. We can shift karma, we can shift trauma, we can shift stagnant energy, and it's just a really nice way to really bring empowerment and strength into your physical abdomen as well. So this breath is quite strong. If you feel that it's too much for you and you don't like it at all, we're going to move into Shavasana afterwards, so you can also just come to lay down and breathe and focus on your breathing just regularly in and out, if that feels more beneficial for you today. If not, I'll demonstrate what we're doing and then you can follow with me. We'll do it for about 3 minutes. So we want to take a full inhale. As we inhale, we retain the breath, and then we do a pumping action from the navel into this higher abdomen, 7, 11, or 21 times. So you inhale fully. So you squeeze the belly button back to the spine, this pumps the upper abdomen. And then you breathe out fully through the nose. Hold the breath out and pump again. So breathe in again. We hold the breath in and we do either 7, 11, or 21 pumps with the navel. So squeezing, 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 holding the breath in, and then full exhale, hold the breath out 7, 11, or 21 times, and we just go to that rhythm, whatever feels good to you. So you can rest your hands down onto your knees. Again, if it doesn't feel good, just you can come to relax down into Shavasana. So just take a normal inhale and a normal exhale. Take a full deep inhale to the belly. Pump in the navel, 7, 11, 21 times. Full exhale. Hold the breath out, pump the navel. Full inhale. Hold the breath in. Full exhale. Hold the breath out, pump the navel. Nice. Now if you've got the rhythm, just close down through the eyes, bring the gaze up to the third eye center. We're going to go for just 2 more minutes. Practicing at your own pace. Inhale fully, pump the navel, holding the breath in 7, 11 or 21 times. Fully strong exhale through the nose, holding the breath out 7, 11 or 21 times, pumping the navel with strong force. We're really activating and pushing into this center to awaken, to shift through any mental formations that we're holding. We're shifting through any stagnation in the solar plexus that's pushing us away from our personal power, from our seat of intuition, of balance, of stability. We're encouraging all the energy to flood into this area, to cultivate more inner fire. Doing really good just here for 1 more minute. Keep going. Fierce focus at the third eye. Just a few more moments here. Keep going. Last full round. Inhaling and exhaling. Your own time. Releasing the breath, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And 1 more nice deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Well done. So if you practice those daily, they're really, really powerful at cleansing, purifying the body and moving, shifting any stagnant energy. It's really, really good for the mind as well. So we can come into either Shavasana from here, or you can come into a butterfly if that feels more comfortable for you to rest into for Shavasana. So if you want to come to butterfly, you might want to take a bolster or a pillow underneath the backs of the knees just to support them. The soles of the feet are touching, the knees are relaxed outward. We can shift ourselves into the middle of the mat and slowly roll down. You might want to bring a pillow or a bolster behind the back of the head. If you want to bring any eye pillows or anything to cover the eyes. And then you can slowly start to recline back. If you feel more comfortable to rest in your Shavasana in any other position, please feel free to make any movements that you need before you come down to relax fully. So just get yourself into a nice comfortable space to rest. You might want to cover the eyes with a pillow, with a blanket, with an eye pillow. And whenever you feel rested, just taking a nice deep breath in and a gentle sigh, relaxing all of the muscles in the entire body, in the head, the arms, the torso, the pelvis, the legs. Taking an inhale, finding lightness in the body. Taking an exhale, feeling heaviness, feeling supported, feeling relaxed. Inhale, feeling light. Exhale to feel the weight of your body relaxing down into the support of the bed or the mat beneath you. Allow your mind to just rest in the darkness behind your eyes. All of your muscles relaxed. Your mind relaxed. Feeling the benefits of your practice. More chi flooding through the spleen, the stomach. Bringing you in a balance, stability, ridding you of any worries, of any anxiety. Feeling more clear in your mind. Feeling more connected to the world of nature, to the lessons and the teachings of the earth as you connect into your power center, into your seat of intuition, inner guidance and inner strength. Knowing you're always supported, you're always protected, and you're always exactly where you need to be. There is no need to worry. As we stay in the present moment of now, we have all we need. We are completely cared for, and we are fully alive. This is a short reading from Pema Chodron called Dragonfly. If we want there to be peace in the world, then we have to take responsibility when our own hearts and minds harden and close. We have to be brave enough to soften what is rigid, to find the soft spot and stay with it. We have to have that kind of courage and take that kind of responsibility. That is true spiritual warriorship, and that's the true practice of peace. Slowly starting to deepen. Inhale. As you exhale, wiggling through the fingers and toes. Deepening your breath in. Exhaling, starting to stretch through the arms, the legs. Maybe taking the stretch overhead if that feels nice. Taking sighs, yawns, whatever feels good to slowly wake you up. And then when you're ready, you can just make your way onto your left side, your yin side. Just take a moment to pause here. Slowly coming back into the space. You can hug your knees into the chest if that feels nice to stretch your spine. And then when you're ready, you can slowly start to press yourself up if it feels good, keeping your eyes closed. Coming back into a seated position, we can bring our hands into Namaste at the heart center. Anjali Mudra. Resting the thumbs onto your sternum, just closing down through the eyes, taking your awareness back inward. Keeping that sense of connection with yourself. Finding a length through the spine, opening up into the abdomen, finding strength in your core, feeling balanced through right and left side, masculine and feminine energies. Take a moment to just cast your mind back to your intention. Why did you come to practice today? Take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, you can bow your head down, offering gratitude to each other for sharing this space together. Offering gratitude to the practice of Yin Yoga, the teachers before us, and offering gratitude to our bodies for all that they do for us. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to practice. Namaste.